pale Minnesota, US. Kulikuwa na pesa ya kusaidia people with disability, kusaidia watu wako na challenges. Hiyo pesa yote ikaibiwa ikaletwa hapa Kenya. Wakanunua mashamba, wakanunua manyumba, wakajenga mall.
BBS Mall is no longer just Eastleigh's pride. It is Kenya's most politically explosive building. What began as a Sunday sermon allegation has now escalated into international diplomacy threats, ethnic tension warnings, sovereignty chest thumping, and a quiet state house stare down.
Sasa Amerika wamejua, wameanza kutafuta hiyo watu. Ingine ndio ilipatiwa rais kufanya kampeni ya UDA.
At the center of it all, 25 billion Kenyan shillings mega mall, a former deputy president, a US fraud scandal, and a question Kenya is no longer whispering: was dirty money washed clean in Nairobi's Eastleigh?
Iko mall moja iko Eastleigh, ilijengwa na hiyo pesa.
On January 4th, inside AIPCA Karatina Church, Kiambu County, Rigathi Gachagua dropped a political grenade, not at a rally, not in parliament, in church. He claimed that hundreds of millions of dollars stolen from US government aid programs in Minnesota, money linked to massive Somali diaspora fraud cases, had been laundered into Kenya. Then he pointed directly at a building Kenyans know well. That fellow built that mall with that Minnesota money. He said he didn't name the owner, but everyone knew who he meant. BBS Mall, Eastleigh.
Iko mall moja iko Eastleigh, ilijengwa na hiyo pesa. Huyo mwenye hiyo mall ni business partner ya rais. Mchele ile imeagizwa ndio imalize watu ya Mwea, 500,000 metric tons imepewa huyo mwenye hiyo mall, ambaye ilijengwa na hiyo pesa ilitolewa Minnesota.
BBS Mall is not a kiosk. It is not a small plaza. It is a 130,000 square meter commercial beast, reportedly the largest mall in East Africa. Thousands of shops, offices, restaurants, entertainment spaces. Built by 10 Commodities Wholesalers Limited, owned by Kenya-Somali billionaire Abdiwali Mohamed Hassan, a symbol of Eastleigh's economic rise and Somali-Kenyan entrepreneurship. That's why this accusation hit harder than politics. It hit identity, capital, and power.
Ya kwamba kwa shetani hakuna barabara, hakuna stima, hakuna maji. Nikimaliza mambo ya kubadilisha Kenya, nitaenda huko kwa shetani, nibadilishe kwa shetani kukuwe Singapore.
Then Gachagua crossed a line no Kenyan leader had crossed before. He appealed directly to US President Donald Trump, not for investigations, not for cooperation, but force. He referenced Venezuela-style operations, hinting at arrests, extraditions by past, and direct recovery of stolen funds on Kenyan soil. That's when the issue stopped being about corruption and became about sovereignty.
Sasa tunaambia Trump, amesema atakuja kuchukua hiyo watu hapa, na tunamkaribisha. Lakini jana rais ameshinda akifanya mipango vile mahakama itazuia hiyo watu kuchukuliwa. Kuna ile process inaitwa extradition. So rais anapanga wapewe court order, wasiende, na mtaona watapewa court order huyo mwenye hiyo mall, because wa America wamemumurika. So we are asking Donald Trump, please don't bother with the extradition process in Kenya. Just do what you did in Venezuela. Yeah? Just said your people with a plane, come and pick that fellow from here, uende umshtaki. Na hiyo pesa irudishwe huko, hiyo mall iuzwe, na huyo mtu awache kutusumbua mambo ya mchele na mambo ya sukari, because ndio rais anatumia to import duty free rice, duty free sugar. Imemaliza wakulima wetu Western, imemaliza wakulima wa Mwea. And because Ruto amepanga na mahakama apewe order asipelekwe Marekani. We are requesting the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, to be kind to this country and to come through for us and to ignore that process and just do what he did in Venezuela, and Kenyans will be grateful. Now if it is possible, he can do it as early as this week. Asingoje sana. Hiyo mtu wako pale Isili, we can tell you where he is. Atume ndege ichukue hiyo mtu. Vile alifanya pale, alichukua rais wa nchi. Na huyu Donald Trump ni matata. That's what we want him to do. Because that fellow alijenga hiyo mall na hiyo pesa. Na ndio anatumika kuangaisha wakulima Kenya. All the duty free rice yeye ndiye anafanya. Duty free sugar ndio anafanya. Ile shida yote imepata wakulima Kenya ni huyo mfanyibiashara ako pale Isili ambaye alijenga hiyo mall na pesa imeibiwa Minnesota.
We condemn in the strongest terms.
Within hours, BBS Malls owners filed complaints at the National Cohesion and Integration Commission NCIC. They charge hate speech, ethnic profiling, economic sabotage. Critics said Gachagwa's words painted Eastleigh as a criminal laundromat and Somali Kenyans as suspects without presenting evidence. Business leaders warned, you don't throw accusations like that at a whole economic district and walk away.
The reckless and unacceptable statements by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, which has taken Somaliphobia into a new alarming level.
We, the Somali community, is operating legal businesses in this country. Hardworking entrepreneurs who are setting up in creative ways all kinds of enterprises, obeying the law, paying their taxes.
It will never happen in Kenya, and we are willing to shed every drop of blood of every citizen of this country before we can be treated to that kind of embarrassment. No.
Gachagua retreated slightly, but not fully. He clarified, I was talking about one individual, not a community, but the fire was already lit.
Wamekutana kusema ati mimi nimeingilia hiyo mall. Mimi sikutaja jina yake, sikuwa naijua, wenyewe ndio wanataja. Sikujua mwenyewe, wenyewe ndio wanataja. Sikujua ametoka jamii gani, wenyewe ndio wanataja. The guilty are afraid. Sisi hatuna shida na jamii ya Wasomali. Mtu mmoja akiiba, the community of Somali is innocent. You leaders from the Somali community, don't profile your community. Munaigiza community kwa shida ya mtu mmoja kwa nini?
On January 7th, Kalonzo Musyoka stepped in carefully. Speaking at a burial in Kipipiri, Kalonzo played the referee. Expose criminals, yes. Investigate corruption, yes. But don't turn justice into ethnic warfare. His words were deliberate. Somalis and every other Kenyan who is not a criminal should not be attacked or feared. Translation, the issue is real, but the framing is dangerous.
Americans are following their best national interest. Pesa zao ziliibiwa kutoka Marekani zikaletwa Kenya. They are following those people. Wakifuata sio Rigiji, si Kalonzo, si JB. We want to assure Somalis and every other Kenyan who are not criminals, that we are together. We are working for the unity, real unity of Kenya. Sio hii ya kubabaisha hivi, kupigwa karata na kufanya hivi. And I'm quite sure the majority of Kenyan Somalis appreciate the good work that our brother Rigiji is doing, exposing it. Because unajua mengine anaongea mimi nashtuka. Anaongea kwa sababu he knows where is coming from.
Then came Farah Maalim. The Dadaab MP and Fear's Ruto ally didn't clarify. He didn't calm. He threatened. In viral videos now flooding social media, Maalim dared the United States of America and Trump to try anything Venezuela on Kenyan soil. He He invoked Black Hawk Down. They tried it in Mogadishu with General Aidid. They saw fire. He warned that any foreign operation could turn Nairobi into chaos. This was no longer about a mall. This was national pride, muscle politics and raw defiance.
We hear him telling the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, come and plug out our president. Pick our president the way you have picked Maduro. Nobody, not the mightiest powers in this world, will have that capacity to do this against the will of Kenyans. Kenyans and the world must remember what happened many years back in Mogadishu when the Americans, with all their sophistication and might, wanted to take one General Farah, Muhammad Aidid. The one thing you can never try in the Horn of Africa is to try and do that. The Americans learned their lesson, the international community learned its lesson, and not a single president of ours, not a single leader of our country will be placarded by anybody else. We don't care whether you're a superpower, and nobody will ever try. As long as we have Kenyans with the guts, and we have many of them who have the guts, including all of us who are here now addressing you today, nobody is going to mess with us because they think we are a subhuman. No. If it has happened in other countries, if it has happened in Libya, it has happened in Iraq, it has happened in other places, I can assure you one thing, it will never happen in Kenya. It will never happen in Kenya. And we are willing to shed every drop of blood of every citizen of this country before we can be treated to that kind of embarrassment. No. We became independent, and our independence was born out of the struggle for freedom of Kenyans. Anybody ambaye anawatafuta wazungu kwenda kwa lamba aende atafute hapo kwingine, sio hapa Kenya. We are proud people. We are a proud nation, and we have the capacity to protect ourselves from any external threat, regardless of how powerful that external threat is. Even if it's a nuclear power, we are confident of ourselves.
Inside government, panic buttons were pressed quietly. Trade CS Lee Kinyanjui publicly condemned Gachagwa's remarks as reckless and dangerous, saying Kenya cannot invite foreign powers to police its economy. No statements from State House, no word from the US Embassy, just silence, the loudest sound in Kenyan politics. Strip away the drama and here's the core. US authorities are aggressively pursuing Minnesota fraud money. Kenya is deeply divided politically. Eastleigh is economically powerful but politically vulnerable. 2027 calculations are already in motion, and now one mole carries all that weight. If investigations prove wrongdoing, heads will roll. If they don't, reputations have already bled. Either way, BBS Mall will never be just a shopping center once again. It is now a symbol of money, ethnicity, sovereignty, and political revenge. What do you think? Should the United States of America and its President Donald Trump heed Gachagwa's call? Drop your comments. Newsroom, Maisha TV, Bushabi Jr.